welcome everyone. I'm with Mike DePasquale, the CEO of BioKey. Mike, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Doing well. Glad to be with you today, Michael.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you. It's an exciting partnership we have with BioKey, learning more about the company. You have over 2 decades of expertise in providing authentication technology for thousands of organizations, millions of users, and you're revolutionizing the authentication with biometric-centric multi-factor identity and access management solutions. So, Mike, I want to start off with just a little bit of background and kind of some details about you so we have some context to set the story here. Give us some history and a little bit of background on BioKey.
BioKey, as you mentioned in the intro, has been in business for well over 20 years. Our primary goal and mission is to provide the strongest forms of authentication that are available in the industry. And any place that you use a password, a card, a token, or a key, fundamentally you can replace that with our strong authentication factors. And our real differentiator is our biometrics. We have been developing this biometric technology since the company was founded in 1992. So we have a lot of experience in being able to provide solutions that tie the actual identity of an individual to something that they possess, which can't be changed, stolen, or modified. And so that's our differentiator. That's what we bring to the table. And we have hundreds and hundreds of institutions, organizations that utilize our technology across the globe and in virtually every sector of the economy.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So we've got some history, we've set the context, and we've set the scene. Let's talk about some recent, exciting, and important things from your end. When did you acquire PortalGuard, and why was that acquisition so important?
Well, we acquired PortalGuard just about a year ago in 2020, in July of 2020. And that acquisition was really a seminal event for our company because it provides us a full and complete identity and access management solution end to end for single sign-on, network logon, and again, strong authentication. Within the solution set that we have and we've acquired with PortalGuard, we have 16 different factors of authentication, providing our customers tremendous flexibility to use one or many of those factors to ensure and to shore up their security. So a very, very important acquisition for us. It was fully accretive. It was profitable before we acquired it and still remains a very profitable entity within the confines of BioKey.
Fantastic. Now let's dig into the specifics of what you do just a little bit more. Can you explain biometrics versus two-factor or multi-factor authentication? How is it better? How is it different? And what biometric factors do you currently expect to support?
Well, biometrics, as I gave a little bit of a preview on before, is the ability to identify an individual by some form or characteristic of their body, or their actions, something that they have innate to them. So it's not something that you have to remember or something that you make up, for example, like a password or a PIN. It's not something you have like a token or a card. It's something that's really characteristic of you. And so that can't be changed. You only have your fingerprint. You only have the exact dimension and the dynamics of your face. You walk a certain way, and believe it or not like anyone else walks. Your eyes have, or your iris has a characteristic or has characteristics that make you unique. But it's the system around the use of biometrics that really differentiates and makes BioKey and biometrics a much stronger factor to use for authentication. So, for example, we capture the biometrics, so we enroll an individual. We use a technology and a category we call identity-bound biometrics, where we bind your identity to that biometric. And that now is enrolled in the system. And then every time you come or present yourself, again, we can scan your finger, we can take a photograph of your face. Our mobile solution uses palm scans to authenticate and identify individuals. So it's a much more secure, but even more importantly, much more convenient way to ensure that an individual is who they say they are.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Let's talk a little bit about data breaches. How do high profile data breaches impact your business? But more specifically, how can your solutions help solve those?
Well, data breaches come in all shapes, sizes, and forms, and there are many ways that hackers have or present an opportunity to get into a system. Because we're providing a very strong factor of authentication that can't be interrupted, that can't be reproduced, we are ensuring that the hackers will have a very, 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 very difficult time getting into a system. The strongest form and factor of authentication and identification is biometrics. And the way that we have compiled our process and our system, we're using double and triple encryption across the whole compendium of the process of collecting the biometric information, transmitting the biometric information, and then using it to verify or authenticate the individual right at the point of service. So it's a very, very secure ecosystem that we've built that ensures the security of the system.
Terrific. Now, let's talk about your competitors a little bit. What are BioKey's strengths? What differentiates you and makes your solutions different or better?
Well, much I've already discussed. Clearly, the fact that we're using a biometric and a very, very strong option for authentication. Also, that we're offering the flexibility of 16 different factors of authentication for our clients. So, for example, Okta, which is one of the larger players in the IAM, identity and access management space, they don't offer anywhere near the level of authentication options that we offer. They do not offer a highly secure biometric option for their customers. They'll utilize, for example, Touch ID or Face ID on a mobile device, but they're not using the level of biometric security that we are, for example, with our mobile auth or our Palm Positive product that works off any Android or iOS phone. So we differentiate ourselves by really providing a significantly higher level of security and a greater level of flexibility for our customers. That's why we have hundreds of educational institutions, higher education institutions, utilizing our technology on a daily basis for millions of students to access the portals and information that those universities, colleges, and universities provide for them. Because again, we can provide all that flexibility for access.
Fantastic. Now, I want to talk to just a little bit the global aspirations and some of the larger term plans for BioKey as we kind of close this out here. But explain to us your large scale opportunities, particularly with national identity programs. How is the opportunity different with those than it would be in the US specifically?
Well, you have to have technology that can scale to very, very large populations. So I'm glad that you brought this up because we're working on a number of very large contracts in Africa where we're enrolling and then we'll identify and verify millions of individuals to help the country build an identity ecosystem that will allow individuals, in particular in Nigeria, that will allow them to partake in all of the accoutrements that society can provide. So, for example, access to social service programs, access to banking, finance, and healthcare, things that we take for granted here because we use social security numbers. In the third world, that doesn't exist. And so providing a biometric capability that can scale to millions and tens of millions of individuals is a very desirable solution. And we're working very aggressively in those areas. We have a footprint in Asia and an office in Hong Kong. We have an office in Nigeria that we opened about a year ago. And we continue to obviously support the North American market with our offices here in the US.
Perfect. Mike Deek Pasquale, CEO of BioKey. It's been a wonderful first interview and a great introduction to the Benzinga audience. Looking forward to speaking with you again soon. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Thank you, Michael.